In the eerie silence of the night, Cecilia Cass, a brilliant optics scientist, finds herself ensnared in the terrifying grasp of her malevolent husband, Adrian Griffin. With the aid of her sister Emily, she manages to slip away, leaving Adrian in a drug-induced slumber. However, their dog's sudden freedom triggers the car alarm, awakening Adrian, who chases after her in a fit of rage. Despite the chaos, Cecilia and Emily manage to escape, leaving behind the bottle of diazepam that had been used to drug Adrian. 2 weeks later, Cecilia is living a life of seclusion in the safe haven of her best friend James Lanier's home, along with his teenage daughter Sydney. Paralyzed by fear, she remains a recluse, terrified of stepping outside. When Emily visits, Cecilia is thrown into a panic, convinced that Adrian will harm her. But Emily brings unexpected news. Adrian has taken his own life. His brother Tom bestows upon Cecilia Adrian's vast fortune and estate, which she reluctantly accepts to secure Sydney's college future and support James' household. Yet Cecilia can't shake off the eerie sensation of being watched, and at night she feels stalked by an unseen presence. One night, as she sleeps next to Sydney, the comforter is mysteriously pulled away, and in flashes of light flicker in the room. Cecilia wakes up, suspicious of the blankets piled at the foot of the bed. When she tries to retrieve them, they refuse to budge. Her startled reaction wakes Sydney and James, but she struggles to articulate her fears. Cecilia attends a job interview for an architect's position, but when she opens her portfolio, it's empty. She faints, and a hospital visit reveals she was drugged. Back home, she receives a call from the doctor who informs her that she had a mild overdose of diazepam, the same drug she had used on Adrian. She finds the same bottle of diazepam that Adrian had discovered earlier. Feeling threatened, she visits Emily, who is upset and distant, having received a hateful email from Cecilia's account. Cecilia checks her email and finds the sent message, leading to an emotional breakdown. Sydney attempts to console her, but an unseen force attacks Sydney, leading her to believe that Cecilia is responsible. James decides to move Sydney to a safer location. Meanwhile, Cecilia investigates the house and discovers her work in the attic, along with a large kitchen knife and several photos of her sleeping, taken by an unseen stalker. Realizing she's not alone, Cecilia throws a bucket of paint onto the ladder when she senses movement, revealing a man-shaped figure in some kind of suit. The figure flees, washing off the paint before Cecilia can exit the attic. A struggle ensues until Cecilia manages to break free and escape the house. Hopping into a lift car she had called, she directs the driver to Adrian's house. Sneaking into Adrian's laboratory, she uncovers a high-tech suit he had been developing that could render him invisible. She takes the suit and hides it, but the invisible man attacks her. Her dog intervenes, giving her just enough time to escape. In a bid to mend fences, Cecilia arranges a meeting with Emily at a restaurant. As they reconnect, Cecilia reveals her discovery of an invisible suit at Adrian's lab. Their reunion is abruptly cut short when a knife mysteriously slices Emily's throat. The knife ends up in Cecilia's hand, leading to her arrest and subsequent confinement in a sanitarium. Doubting her sanity and discovering her pregnancy with Adrian's child, Cecilia is confronted by Tom, who reveals his collaboration with Adrian. He threatens her with permanent institutionalization and loss of fortune unless she returns to Adrian. Enraged by Emily's death, Cecilia refuses and manages to steal one of Tom's pens in her room. Cecilia contemplates suicide, but the invisible man intervenes. Using herself as bait, she lures him out and stabs him with the pen, causing his suit to malfunction. A security guard attempts to intervene but is taken aback by the glitching figure and is overpowered. Cecilia flees into the hallway, only to be confronted by more guards who also witness the glitching figure. The invisible man easily defeats them and escapes into the stormy night. Despite being overpowered, Cecilia manages to warn James about the impending danger. James rushes home to find an unseen figure attacking Sydney. Despite his efforts, James is brutally beaten. Cecilia intervenes, revealing the figure with a fire extinguisher before shooting him with a fallen officer's pistol. The invisible man collapses and dies from his injuries. Unmasking him, Cecilia discovers it's Tom. Meanwhile, a SWAT team finds Adrian tied up in his house. James suggests that Tom was using Adrian to torment Cecilia, but she remains convinced that they were in cahoots, with Adrian setting up Tom as a scapegoat. Haunted by the recent events, Cecilia arranges a dinner with Adrian, wearing a listening device to capture a confession, with James stationed outside. Adrian initially denies stalking her but eventually hints at his guilt. As Cecilia excuses herself, Adrian's throat is suddenly slashed. Cecilia re-enters the room, finding shock, and reports Adrian's apparent suicide to the police. She then taunts the dying Adrian, hinting at her use of his invisible suit. James discovers Cecilia escaping with Adrian's suit and dog. Realizing her plan to murder Adrian, James lets her go. Cecilia disappears into the night, possibly planning to use Adrian's invention for her own ends. That's all for the recap of the movie. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know what you think of this Invisible Man movie in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to support our channel. Until next time, this is Joseph from Joseph Z Recap. Stay safe.